Assignment 3-1, Universal Design for Learning, where you'll learn about Universal Design for Learning. And then use a tech tool or two of your choice to express what you've learned and what you're thinking. You'll do the second part of this assignment next week. You definitely should check this information out. So this week's tool options, really, it's about empowering you to explore that which you need to explore. Over the last 3 weeks, all of us have pretty dramatically shifted our engagement with either the classes that we're taking, the classes that we're teaching, both, throw parenting and whatever else into there. And there's been a lot of things that we've needed to adapt to. Some of those so if you think back on those, you could probably identify some things that you wanted to do but didn't have the skills to do. Well, this is your opportunity to seek out that kind of information. And so what you're going to do is you're going to choose a tool to use based on what you want to learn. Think about those recent classes or plans I just mentioned and something you wish you could do with technology, but you couldn't do to your level of satisfaction. And if we click there and go down to the bookmark, you can choose a new tool or one that's familiar to you. I include that again, but just so you know, so here's 5 categories that are pretty commonly needed or desired for folks. And I've just included 3 examples of some pretty well-curated examples of that. If you know others, or if your school uses another, or your colleagues use another, feel very free to use that. That's what I have those there for, basically to make it easier so you don't feel like you have to uncover and discover everything. But that shouldn't, I hope that doesn't make you feel limited in what you can use. I don't care what you use as long as you're learning. How you submit your work this week will depend on how you express your work. You don't need a single format for the entire assignment, meaning if you wanted to screencast some of your questions that you respond to, that's fine. If you want to just talk into your phone and submit the audio file for that, that's fine too. If you want to write some of those responses or all of them, great. Make sure somehow you've included the tech tool of your choice. Again, the goal is to get you to learn more about the tech tools that you want to learn about. So I think the layout of this assignment is going to be pretty straightforward. You're going to review some materials, but essentially your job is to respond to the lettered prompts in here. And so starting here, we see, skip that, A through D, and then E through J and N, or K through N. So A through J are about UDL, and then K through N are just you reflecting on the tech tools that you chose and what you learned about them, and why you chose them, and what you're going to learn, what you would like to learn next. So it's pretty straightforward. You're going to respond to prompts A through N. It starts with a general UDL overview, and for this section, please just use the graphic organizer, because I don't want you to get lost in the weeds yet. There's plenty of time to get lost in the weeds. So for this first section, that's, I believe, questions A through D. Yeah, A through D. Just use this. Get a broad overview of the, and this is the UDL guidelines graphic organizer. Also, after you're kind of familiar with the overall architecture, you can click on this link here, and that'll get you to the CAST UDL guidelines page. And that is, it's just that you can see it a little easier, so you can see it in more detail. So if we scroll up, you can just see it more clearly. So continuing on, so again, A through D, and then after you do those, just kind of in general, then you go for the more detailed overview, and that's where you can start accessing these resources. The NHDOE's Learning Design website, I wanted to highlight that since it's something that New Hampshire is all in on, and it's related to, I mean, it's made in conjunction with the UDL folks at CAST. Then there's the graphic organizer as a PDF. There are also this is the website that is the graphic organizer, and it's interactive. And so you go to it and you'll see that familiar thing, but you'll also see that if you click on it, it'll give you some more information about whatever it is you're clicking on, in this case, the checkpoint 7.3. And then this theory and practice book is really good. You do need to create a free user account. It's one of the best free user accounts that I've ever created. And so once you've gone through these in enough detail, answer the questions E through N, and then and that's pretty much it. I lied. I am going to read this, or some of it. So, and the reason is it's really important that we establish and that we make it clear that really critically, an important mindset of UDL is that when there's students aren't learning what the teacher wants them to learn, variables in the learning environment have created barriers to that student learning. And this mindset shifts the focus from students being disabled to the learning environment as being disabled or disabling to student learning. In UDL's words, UDL aims to change the design of the environment rather than to change the learner. When environments are intentionally designed to reduce barriers, all learners can engage in rigorous, meaningful learning. And I mentioned here that New Hampshire has recently seen the benefits of UDL, and it's one of the key supports the Department of Education has provided for teachers in response to this remote learning business. So just wanted to point out that very, very critical fact. The learning experience itself is disabling. It's not that the learners are disabled. And so UDL is all about proactively identifying a lot of those unintentional barriers and reducing them. Thanks. Good night.